This is Robert Monroe here. I got a standing desk now. I've been rearranging things, so pardon the worst light for the time being. I don't have my spotlight back up. But I realized I need to be standing so I can rock this princess here while I'm making videos and doing other stuff, teaching and the like. But anyway, to the topic at hand, first of all, let's get the likes coming in. Let's get comments. Let's get subscriptions. We're going for all of it. And we're going to talk about networking, everybody's favorite topic. So I think there's kind of another one of these myths out there. And the myth is I'm going to get discovered. And the way I'm going to get discovered is I'm going to show up to a jam session or something like that. I'm going to play super duper good. And everybody's going to be like, whoa, who's the new person? And they'll come out and hire you. That is not how networking works 99.99% of the time. Let me give you a few real examples on how networking works. So we just got out of college, my wife and I. We moved back to the Chicagoland area. We're both working not the most desirable jobs in the world. My wife is doing preschool music. She has a master's degree in trombone, so nothing wrong with preschool music, but not quite what she got educated for. And I'm working at a school of rock. Well, we get an interesting call, and it's actually from somebody that I went to church with when I was a teenager. And he remembered me, and the school that he was doing orchestra at needed a band teacher. So I had made enough of an impression with the random preludes I'd play and the conversations we'd have back when I was a 16 or a 17-year-old that he felt confident enough to recommend my wife, who he had never met, to go and be the new band director at the school that he was teaching at. That is how I've noticed almost every single network connection I've had really works in real life. Here's another example. I went to sub at this church. By the way, subbing to me is the number one. If anyone says, hey, can you do this job for me? If you can make it happen, you say yes. Worst case scenario, you've done them a favor. Best case scenario, I'm telling you, subs are the best way to meet people and to network. Being the sub or having somebody else sub, it's the best. So anyway, I'm subbing at this church. And the funny thing is, I'm not the only sub there. There's a second sub there on bass. And he leans over to me during the rehearsal and goes, hey, can you read music? Because we're doing a church that doesn't have any music reading. And I'm like, yeah, I can read. He's like, I might have a job for you. This is within 15 minutes of meeting each other, by the way. So we roll up, we get done with the first half of service. He comes out and we talk for a while. And he's like, I'm going to call you. And nothing happens for a while. He calls me later. This guy turns into one of my best buds and gets me one of the highest paying corporate gigs that I've ever been in. Again, we're not talking planned. I didn't go in thinking, okay, this is an audition. I went in thinking I'm subbing at this random church. I could have gone in with the attitude, they're not going to see me ever again. I could do a pretty mediocre job and that would be okay. But that's not what happened. I went in, I did my best, I had a good attitude, and that's where it came from. When you are out in the world, when people can see you, actually, when people can't see you, when you're just hanging out with your kids and your family, you're making an impression. And that impression makes an impact on people, and they decide from that whether you're somebody that they want to work with or not. Very rarely does it actually have to do with your ability besides being able to execute whatever task it is. And that typically is a low hurdle. When we're talking church music or pop music, let's be honest, that's not the hardest thing in the world. The hardest thing in the world is being nice, showing up on time, and being a pleasant person to be around. That is really what typically gets you networked and in a position. I'm going to finish up this video talking about one thing my dad told me, and I thought that was such a great advice for networking. He said he never worries about networking. What he thinks about is who's doing cool stuff and how can I be their friend. So let me give you an example, 2 examples of that. I knew a guy who wanted to do folk music and run a folk music jam session basically for kids. I thought that was a great idea. So we worked a while together. We don't do too much anymore, but this dude is writing a musical every year, and he's such a cool dude, and I have no doubt we're going to cross paths again doing something crazy in the future. The last example is probably the biggest one in terms of my career, which is this guy, Sean, he wanted to make a Clapton tribute. And at the time, I mean, we were just 2 random teachers at School of Rock, and I befriended him doing this Clapton thing. And lo and behold, this turns into, now we are the national Clapton tribute, Journeyman tribute to Eric Clapton. You can look us up. We're going to leave tomorrow to go on a 3-week tour. So what's my main point? The main point is you get opportunities when you least expect it. Instead of investing so much time in these scripted, planned, audition / jam session / publicity opportunities, think about all the other things that you're doing in life. Think about the random conversations you have at work. That's the type of stuff that in my opinion, not only really matters in life, but also really matters in terms of getting more opportunities. This has been Robert Monroe. Hope you're having a great day, and talk to you later.